How to stop worrying and learn to love set-adjacent JumpStart. JumpStart, not to be confused with the keyword JumpStart, is a Magic the Gathering format played with JumpStart boosters. Unlike most boosters, which contain a randomized selection of individual cards from a given set, JumpStart boosters are randomized to contain one of a number of 20-card half decks such that two, shuffled together, form a ready-to-play 40-card deck. While there have been 8 physical products bearing the JumpStart branding, I would hazard that many players would agree there have only been 2 real JumpStart sets. The first real JumpStart set, released in 2020 and simply called JumpStart, had 121 different possible half decks representing 46 themes. The second real JumpStart set, released in 2022 and simply called JumpStart 2022, had 121 different possible half decks representing 46 themes. Before I go any further, I want to say that, in my opinion, JumpStart is probably the best way for someone who plays Magic the Gathering to introduce a friend to the hobby. It's quick, it's fun, it provides a limited set of cards to worry about figuring out, it naturally introduces the idea of different archetypes having unexpected synergies when combined, and it provides a base of cards, including basic lands, for new players to start building decks with. Okay, so, starting a little before the release of JumpStart 2022, Wizards of the Coast started including JumpStart boosters along with the normal lineup of products for most sets. Dominaria United JumpStart with 10 possible half decks and 5 themes. They called it 10 themes. The Brothers War JumpStart with 10 possible half decks and 5 themes. Phyrexia All Will Be One JumpStart with 10 possible half decks and 5 themes. March of the Machine with 10 possible half decks and 5 themes. And The Lord of the Rings Tales of Middle-earth with 20 possible half decks in 10 themes, except split between Volume 1 and 2, each with 10 possible half decks in 5 themes. You could say there was a 7th Stealth JumpStart product because each copy of Ravnica Clue Edition, which released roughly speaking alongside the Karlov Manor set, included 8 of 20 possible JumpStart-like half decks in 10 possible themes. In general, these sets lacked variety in both the raw number of themes compared to the real JumpStart sets, and also in the variations within those themes. There seemed to be some indication in the marketing for these set-adjacent JumpStart boosters that they were meant to be mixed with other set-adjacent JumpStart boosters for greater variety. But, even if you combined all 6 releases to have 30 themes and 60 possible half decks, that wouldn't add up to the variety of a single real JumpStart set, and, worse still, set-adjacent JumpStart boosters were sold in boxes of 18, meaning you would open at least 8 duplicate packs every box. Compare that to the real JumpStart set booster boxes, which, despite having 24 packs per box, had so much variety that you would have to buy 2 boxes for a chance to see most of the themes, and 5 boxes for a chance at getting all of the possible half decks. Set-adjacent JumpStart boosters were also being released along with the draft boosters, set boosters, collector's boosters, commander decks, and 2-player starter kit lineup of every set. So another common complaint was, with too many products to keep track of, less enfranchised purchasers might buy them thinking they were real booster boxes, and, on the other hand, having set-adjacent JumpStart bear the same branding as the real JumpStart was confusing and could also lead to unintended purchases of these instead of a real JumpStart set released around the same time. Arguably, set-adjacent JumpStart replaced a not very popular product in the lineup, the Theme Booster. But Theme Boosters were only packaged for individual sale in hanger packs, while set-adjacent JumpStart boosters were sold in 2-count hanger packs, or the aforementioned 18-count booster boxes, so it was still a net increase. Incidentally, the 2-count hanger packs are actually pretty great if you can find them for a reasonable price. Another problem with standard set-adjacent JumpStart was that, as they included only cards being added to the standard format with that set, this capped the power level and limited the pool of available cards the game designers could build interesting half decks from. This was in stark contrast to the real JumpStart sets, which pulled from, essentially, the entire history of Magic the Gathering and could introduce powerful new cards suitable for Eternal formats like Commander. As it turns out, Wizards of the Coast got the message and the set-adjacent JumpStart line was cancelled on such short notice that they needed to put the 15 cards intended for the scrapped Wilds of Eldraine JumpStart boosters in Wilds of Eldraine set boosters instead. Well, maybe not cancelled entirely. Later this year, there will be a new set-adjacent JumpStart product released along with the Foundation set. But it will have 46 themes instead of 5. So it isn't technically the same as the product they cancelled so much as a marginally improved reboot of it. Now that you understand the situation, here's my problem. Set-adjacent JumpStart boosters were still quite fun to play with once or twice before they got repetitive, and the fun could be stretched out longer if you mixed and matched boosters from different sets. You just needed to get your hands on a few boosters from each set instead of a whole box. Maybe you and 5 friends could each buy a box from a different set and then redistribute the pack such that you each take home 3 from each, or do what I did and wait for a local game store to repackage their overstock and sell set-adjacent JumpStart boosters 4 at a time as 2-player JumpStart starter kits. With that in mind, I think that set-adjacent JumpStart was a good idea poorly executed, rather than a bad idea. And I think I know how to do it right. Semi-annual, standard JumpStart. Here's the pitch. Every second year, sometime after rotation, release a JumpStart product containing cards from the 8 sets currently legal and standard that will not be rotating until the next year. This new standard JumpStart and any future real JumpStart sets could release alternating years so they wouldn't compete with each other. Using the most recent 8 standard sets allows standard JumpStart to be a place for new or returning players to get into the current standard format, and would give the designers a broader selection of cards to work with when coming up with interesting themes and half decks. I would imagine these standard JumpStart sets would have at least 5 themes inspired by each of the 8 sets included, and a few cross-set synergy themes to fill out the 46-121 model of real JumpStart sets. A product like this could also give Wizards of the Coast a place to print more copies of the designed for standard constructed play but not limited cards they currently only include in collector's boosters now that set boosters aren't a thing anymore. So, what do you think? Could a standard JumpStart product redeem the set-adjacent JumpStart line? Where would you put this product on the already crowded release schedule? Do you have another idea for how to solve the set-adjacent JumpStart problem? What are your favorite JumpStart combos? Mine are vampires and cats, and double beast territory.